Hey guys, it's Turok. I don't know how long this video will be. I could go on all day. Any of you who watch my channel who are also watch many others who've got way out on this, well, I've heard the news that Akira Toriyama has passed away, and it looked like it happened about a week ago. So, it is no understatement to say to any of you who may watch this video now or in the future that I will let you know that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are the foundations of my experience into anime and manga. I experienced anime and manga a little earlier in my life when I didn't even realize it. My earliest anime I ever watched was probably Speed Racer, and I didn't even associate it with being an anime at the time. Shoot, I was gonna look up this other one. There was one other at the time too that had to do with some space stuff, and it had these people dressed in these suits that made it look kind of like the Eagles. I found out about the name of it later, but now I forgot. That was when I was about 9. But it wasn't until I was 14 and I discovered Toonami that Dragon Ball entered my life, or discovered it, any way you want to put it, and I was hooked, and it set the standard for everything afterward. And Toriyama obviously created this, and it's both sad and it's scary that he's gone. He's literally a living legend. Like, the next closest thing that I think you could put in like a certain sense like that, it would be like if you use like actors or something, you'll have like William Shatner or Arnold Schwarzenegger. When they pass, they'll be like, the influence is what I'm getting at. It's so powerful. It's just so weird to see him gone. And I don't even know if he's ever done any television things. Now I want to look. I think much like how Oda is now, and Oda's like what, probably 15 years younger than him or so. So Oda, I hope Oda's doing good. I know he takes his break. He's taking a break this week again, so good for him. See, now I'm gonna meander. I just can't. I can't figure out where to go with my video. I'll just do a little more history and stuff. So Dragon Ball Z, I started with the Majin Buu saga. Early in the Majin Buu saga with Goku, and learned about Goku and saw Super Saiyan 3 right away and saw the rest of that saga. By the way, that one doesn't sit as well with me as earlier sagas, and I think most people have the same consensus. At the time, I was just blown away. Even back then, I was like, the only thing I'd had as far close to that was like maybe watching some action movies and stuff like that, which I think though have gotten even better now, actually, some of them, like John Wick. But Dragon Ball, I just like, I was hooked. Every time I came home from school, I would watch it, and if I couldn't, I would ask my dad to record it for me. And so at that time, my father's mental health and physical health was degrading, and so he would watch TV all day, every day, and he couldn't sleep without the TV on. But he understood my passion for it, even though, and sometimes he didn't like it. He didn't think the violence, as he got older, he didn't think the violence was good. He thought it was going to negatively impact me. We had a great big arguments over that years later. But he always got it for me, so I would watch it every moment I could. It's definitely like in my top 3 of most important animes ever that started me off in the right direction of like wanting to do this channel now. The other one would be like back then would be like Inuyasha. Back like when I was watching Inuyasha, a little story about how when I thought about starting this channel, I used to like write down all this different stuff, that the lore with the different weapons and things that were going on in Inuyasha. And back then, if I had the accessibility to get on YouTube and stuff, I probably would have made a channel then. That would have been about 20 years ago. Excuse me. So it's just with it's so weird now to imagine him gone too. Because on another note, I always worry about this in context to any kind of creator who has so much influence like Toriyama, that once they have passed, that their any endeavor to create a new stuff out of their IP, their creation without their that they can't have a hand in, is gonna go awry or go wrong. It's not gonna be the same. Um, and Toriyama, I think, would be that it can be hit. Dragon Ball could be the perfect example of that. In some ways, I know he was working on Dragon Ball Super, and I want to check the manga out even more now. I've watched some of the movies, the Dragon Ball Super movies, and some of the stuff with that I felt was not as good as your older stuff as well. So I'm not. I'm just that's just my critique. So it's not a bash against him and his way. That's the way he wanted to tell stories, and whatever other things he wanted to do. That's fine. But it's just like, I will always be more of a fan of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z than anything else that will come after. The bottom line, I feel like they are nigh perfect in some ways, up through Cell at least. Sure, they do all these power ups and whatnot and stuff, but there's other aspects of storytelling that Toriyama would nail. Actually, with the Buu Saga, we'd have to, of course, talk about Vegeta's atonement. So that scene is a top part of the series for me. But it's just, I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place. I hope he is at peace. That's what I'm going to go for. When people say, "Oh, it's sad he's gone," I might have a unique view on this, but like, what if he's happy now? What if he knows he's impacted so many lives. He became hopefully as successful as he wanted to. I wish him peace. So it's sad that he's gone, but I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm sad. I'm happy that I'll be content of thinking and hoping he's at peace. I want to say so. Thank you, Toriyama, for your work. I hope you had a good time with it. Had a wild ride. Had a great time with it, because I sure as hell did. I know I've never really gotten into the other media of Dragon Ball, but I frequently rewatch some of my favorite parts of the series, especially the dubbed versions. By the way, too, I don't know how much impact voice he had in that, but it's the American dub. Would that be under Funimation? I can't say it. But the dubbing that came, the one that everyone knows, anyways, not the older one. I know there was one or two older ones that weren't as good. And between that and the American soundtrack by Bruce Falconer, I can just say that I couldn't imagine how I would be without that as my foundation for why I want to do this channel. It's just a whole part of it is me wanting to gush over this stuff, basically. And so I've been doing this mostly with One Piece now, and that has for many reasons of how One Piece reminds me much of high fantasy novels of that are usually done by Western authors. But it's just so important for me to say that Toriyama is the foundation. Without that, I don't know how much I would have gotten to anime and manga. Yeah, it was just I can't. I'm gonna just leave it here now. I'm just going on and on. So thank you, Toriyama, for your contribution to the world. I can safely say that as far as modern nerd culture, so to speak, goes, fantasy culture, you are one of the greats. You set the standard that we are all living under, and everything since then has only gone up. Everyone's any critiques I would have are never mind. Thank you for your work. I hope you are at peace. I hope you're family will be at peace, and we will continue to enjoy your work long after this time period of our mourning. So thank you.